Hi, this is Yvonne Fish for Math 99 Intermediate Algebra at SBSCC. I just wanted to show you this worksheet that I posted in your Canvas course for just some extra practice on reviewing equations and inequalities and solving them. So it's a matchup worksheet. You'll notice these little codes at the top. This goes with a different curriculum, but it's a nice one. So if you ever see that and I refer to it, just so you know what that is. It means equation 29 worksheet. So here you have some responses to choose from, and you can match up, so it makes it nice and quick for an answer key. I will post this in Canvas as well. But today I'm going to just show you some examples of the highlighted boxes. I'm going to push this up, and if you had done some work on it and wanted to see what the answers are while you're just kind of looking at the videos, I put the answers for the E problems as well. Okay, so I'm going to take this away, and again, I'll post that for you as well. So I refer to the column, so row 1, column 1 is this first example. 2x plus 4 times quantity, 2x minus 1 equals negative 14. So what we're going to do here, and the answer to this one was B. So what we're going to do first is distribute. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and make that be 8x minus the 4. Don't forget to distribute to both terms there. Remember, terms are separated by plus and minus, or equals. So here now we're going to combine like terms. Some people have different ways of showing their work, whatever you're comfortable with at this level. You've probably done, gotten into sort of a routine of what you like. I'm going to then get all my numbers to one side and my variables to another. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And the way I show my work is I usually write it kind of small there. And then that literally cancels out to 0. And we're left with 10x equals negative 10. There. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 10. And this isn't equals, so I don't have to worry about doing, anything with the inequality symbol, like I will on the next one. So there, that reduces down to 1x, and I am left with x equals negative 1. And your answer for that, again, is B. Now, the next problem, this is an inequality, so we have to remember it will work more again with these later. If we need to divide or multiply by a negative at any point, then we must reverse the inequality. And I'm just going to put a little aside here, just a side note of why that is. So I'm going to kind of put that down here. Side note that if we had something like 2 is less than 5, and you understand that to be true, but if we were to divide by negative 1, just say, then the signs will end up changing. Then we'll get a negative 2 and a negative 5. Well, if I just leave this symbol the same, it's going to be an untrue statement. So I must reverse the inequality whenever I divide or multiply by a negative. It's because I'm changing the sign. If I were to add or subtract something, it's fine, even if that actually does change the sign in the process. Like if I were to have 2 is less than 5, and I have negative, we'll just say negative 3, or subtract 3 from both sides, or add negative 3, we can look at it both ways. Then I'm going to end up with a negative 1 and a 2. And if I just carry that down, see, that is still a true statement, so it works. get back to our problem. So this one, whenever you have a ratio set at less than, equal to, or equal to another ratio, we can do what's called cross multiply. Hopefully you've seen this before. One thing to know is that anything in a numerator or a denominator is actually a quantity, and it's understood to have parentheses around it. So I could multiply here 2 times x plus 1 greater than 3 times negative 3x minus 3. You could also do it as clearing the denominator and multiply both sides by the lowest common multiple, which would be 6. Comes out the same. Then I'm going to go ahead and distribute. 2x plus 2 is greater than negative 9x minus 9. Okay, and from there, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to push this up a little here. Get rid of what I don't want. So I want all my number stuff to one side and my letter stuff to the other side. It doesn't really matter which side. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. So that'll get rid of this here. So I'm going to add 9x to both sides also. And you can do that in the same line, but if you're not comfortable with that, just go ahead and separate them out. And then we have 11x is greater than negative 11. And I'm just dividing by 11 on both sides, so I do not need to reverse the inequality. If I had done this problem differently, then I would have, if I ended up having to divide by a negative. So I'm just going to end up with x is greater than negative 1. And on that key, that would be A is the answer. I'm going to track those over here. Another type of problem we have is, excuse me, when we want to clear the decimal, we can really make this be a multiple by multiplying every term or the entire equation by 100. And when I do that, I'm really going to shift 2 places right each time. And I have to make sure I do that to every term, even the ones that aren't set out to the hundredths place. I'm going to pick whatever's the furthest out, and then I'm going to just make them all be whole numbers. That's the action that'll work. So this will end up being 3x, and this will be 8 greater than, now this will be 20x minus 60. So you really want to be careful of that. So then when I am now going to simplify everything, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 20x from this side, so that will cancel 20x over here. And then I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I'm going to end up with a negative 17x. That's greater than negative 68. Now when I do the math on that, I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 17. Now be careful, as soon as I write that negative division by negative, I want to reverse the symbol. And then I'm going to end up with x is less than 4. And the answer for that is C. You might want to pause the video and see, how, try it along the way and see how it goes for you. Now this one we cannot do the cross multiplying that we did before because this isn't all kind of contained. I guess we kind of could. We could contain that whole thing over, but it's easier in this case just to multiply both sides by 2. that way. And then that will reduce, and leaving me with this entire thing on the top, this entire expression. 11 plus 3 times quantity 2x minus 1 equals, don't forget the 2, times 20 minus x. You could have calculated that out ahead if you wanted. Measurement. I'm going to distribute all that, so I end up with 11 plus 6x minus 3 equals 40 minus 2x. So I'm at that point now. I can just simplify. And I would have 11 minus the 3 is going to give me an 8. Positive 8 equals 40 minus the 2x. And then now I'm going to get my variables to one side and my letters to the, my constants to the other side. So I'm getting my variable terms in the solving process here. So I end up with 8x equals 32 and x equals 4. Push this up a little bit. And the answer for that is D. So there are several more that you can practice throughout the next couple of weeks. I'll take any requests for videos done out, and I can post them on that page, or in some, we can make a forum if we need to, or if you want to just email me and get some help, that's great too. Anything, just let me know. Have a great day.